Okay, everybody, it's 11:30, so we'll go ahead and get started with the weekly impact weather briefing for Central North Carolina. This covers the period Monday through Sunday, November 12th through November 18th, 2018. My name is Ryan Ellis. I'm a forecaster here at the National Weather Service in Raleigh. As always, if you have any questions, please put them in the question box, and we'll get to them at the end of the briefing. To start out today, happy Veterans Day. We're honoring our veterans here in the office. We have 4 of them currently working with us here. Terry Click, Blake Ellis, Terry Hudgens, J.L. Winger. They're all Air Force veterans. We also have Michael Moneypenny, our hydrologist, who recently retired. All U.S. Air Force. But I have a picture here of the U.S. Bonhomme Richard, and I put that in here because this was actually the carrier that my grandfather was on in World War II, traveling all through the Pacific. And so I wanted to have a shout out to him here, and to all of you out there who may have served, thank you very much. We got a lot on tap with the weather this week, so we'll get right into it. Early in the week here, you can see a lot of us would probably like this map to be flipped, and because they need some rain on the West Coast right now with all the fires going on. But we're going to get a lot of rain here in Central North Carolina and up and down the eastern seaboard. The first system is moving into the area as we speak, and will continue to go through the Carolinas with heavy rain this afternoon, this evening, and into the overnight hours. Then we're going to get a little bit of a break for the midweek, maybe on Wednesday, before a second system comes in on Thursday. And you can see in the late week slide here down in the bottom left, you can see the low pressure near the Delmarva Peninsula. That'll keep moving up the East Coast and drag another front through the area. Once that does, we finally will dry out for the weekend. High pressure moving in, cooler temperatures, but looking like a decent weekend so far. So what is it going to look like today? 4 p.m. we have a lot of rain moving through, but it's just getting ramped up because by 7 o'clock you can see another wave moving into the western part of our area. And that will continue to transverse eastward across the area through 10 o'clock. And then looks like by 1 or 2 in the morning, we'll start to see the heaviest rain moving out of the area to our east and into eastern North Carolina. You can see a few stronger returns, especially during the overnight hours down near the coast. There is the potential for an isolated thunderstorm or 2, even over our area. A lot of that activity will be elevated, so we're not incredibly worried about any severe thunderstorms at this point. We're mostly worried about the amount of rain we're going to get. And just to look at what the SPC has out as far as thunderstorm potential, again, you see along the coast being the marginal threat for severe weather, just general thunder back across most of central North Carolina. And again, over the next couple days, that possibility is there, but it is very isolated. So to talk about the rain, these are the estimated totals from the Weather Prediction Center in Washington. And you can see with the first system, there's a nice bullseye of about 2 to 3 inches across our area. We do expect that to be widespread. And so most locations will see that, and there could be the potential that some locations could get a little bit more than that, but it would be very localized. Expect urban and small stream flooding with this. There is the potential, maybe, as we keep monitoring this, for a flash flood warning or 2, but most of that should be more of the advisory level type flooding. And then, like I said, we're going to get this break, a little bit of a break, tomorrow and into Wednesday before the next system comes up from the south. And you can see Wednesday, the bulk of that system is over Georgia and South Carolina, and then it'll move up over our area on Thursday. And so with that system, we also expect about 2 inches of rain out of it. So when you total that up for the 7-day total, we could see some areas potentially approaching that 5-inch mark. I know the orange there, the little bullseye of orange, says between 5 and 7. Probably going to be more towards the low end of that. So I wouldn't expect too many totals for the week of 7 inches. So with that, we would like to take a look at the hydrographs of some of our rivers that may approach flood stage. Now keep in mind when you're looking at these, this includes 48 hours of estimated precipitation. So forecasted precipitation, that's what goes into the river models. So this is encapsulating the first event, but maybe not all of the second event. So we'll have to watch this as we go later into the week to see how much rain we actually get, as some of these hydrographs may turn out a little bit higher. But right now the rivers to watch are going to be the Haw, which is a little bit quicker to react. And we can see that it approaches action stage for the Haw River at Haw. That would be Tuesday night, and maybe closer to Wednesday morning, approaching flood stage at the Haw River at Bynum. So we'll keep an eye on those. The Little River at Manchester, that approaches flood stage but stays slightly under, and that would be on very early Thursday morning. Moving eastward, the Neuse at Smithfield, that approaches action stage on Wednesday. Sorry about that. And then we'll have to see how high it gets later in the week again. So somewhere around Thursday morning, again, approaching flood stage. And then the Tar River at Tarboro, which is a much slower response. Over the weekend, we'll have to look and see how things progress there. Now, if I haven't showed any other hydrographs, that means that they are well below flood stage. So we do not expect any flooding at this time with the hydrographs that I haven't put up. So Cape Fear, places like that, not expecting much at this time. But again, with only 48 hours of the precipitation in there, we'll have to see how much we get out of that second system later in the week. Okay, so this is a slide. I say, yeah, but my app says snow. We've had several reports of people looking at apps out there that have a snowflake on there for Thursday, especially if you're in the Triad or any of the Virginia border counties. A couple things to keep in mind. At this time, there is no threat for any impactful winter weather in central North Carolina this week. Now, that being said, the Triad and Virginia border counties will have temperatures near freezing for just a couple of hours on Thursday morning around sunrise. This is possibly enough to get a little bit of sleet out of it on the windshield, maybe mixed in with the rain, but otherwise we're expecting all liquid. Now, even though we do have temperatures near 32 degrees for a brief time, any ice is very unlikely because warm antecedent conditions, which basically means that ground temperatures and air temperatures prior to the event have been much higher than freezing. And so you would need a much longer duration of freezing temperatures and much colder air in place ahead of time to get that freezing rain occurral. So we're not expecting any of that to be a problem for any of you out there on Thursday in the Triad and Virginia border counties. And even though we might get down to 32 for an hour or two, temperatures will quickly rise through the 30s after sunrise, further mitigating any chances of winter weather. So just keep in mind when you're looking at those apps, they're a great tool to get an at a glance of what's happening, but a lot of times there's not any human hands on that forecast at all. And if it's coming straight from a model, models, especially in this part of the world, tend to overdo the winter weather threat, mainly because of snow liquid ratios they're using are a little bit different. So we'll just switch right from winter to tropical. Why not? It is still hurricane season out there, and there is a system out in approaching the Caribbean at this time that has a high chance of becoming a tropical system later this week. Now, that being said, with the systems coming through our area this week, those are going to move out to sea, and they're actually going to act to push whatever this becomes out to sea with it. So no threat for any tropical concerns for central North Carolina or anywhere on the East Coast at this point. So looking ahead to next week, we were very cold, below normal with temperatures this week, and we see that starting to pull out, and notice that back to the western 2/3 of the country, they're expecting above normal temperatures, so that will slowly creep eastward. So expect closer to normal conditions over the next 8 to 14 days, which for this time of year is somewhere around 60 degrees or so for the high, and equal chances of above or below normal precipitation. So to summarize, a very wet start to the week, upwards of 3 to 4 inches. That's my most likely forecast of how much rain we get in most locations. Urban and small stream flooding is possible. Chance for an isolated thunderstorm, particularly in the east. Main stem rivers will need to be monitored for potential flooding later this week. And a second system on Thursday appears to be all liquid at this point, despite temperatures very close to freezing. The Triad and Virginia border counties. Sunny and cool for the weekend, which will be a nice change, and potential tropical system is no threat. So if there are any questions at this time, I will take them. And thanks for your comments there, Roger. It's nice. Otherwise, have a great week, everyone. And again, if you need anything from us, you know where to find us, and we're happy to provide whatever support you need. Otherwise, we will talk to you next week. Thanks, and have a great week, everybody.